So Chanley referenced a moment that happened inside that courtroom, and I want to just set it up for you and then let you see it, because it's something I've never seen before. It's something you have never seen before. I'm talking about the brother of the victim in this case. In a victim impact statement, and in Texas, the victim impact statement is after the sentencing. She's already gotten her 10 years. But in a Texas victim impact statement, the victim gets to speak directly to the defendant. And you've seen moments in courtrooms, right, where victims' families have jumped out and attacked the person who has killed their loved one, has killed their brother, has killed their son. Well, that didn't happen today. Botham Jean's brother got up there and talked about his faith, talked about his brother's faith, and talked about forgiveness. And everything he said then culminated in a hug between the victim's brother and the woman who sent him to his grave. It was my biggest moment of the day.
I don't want to say twice or for the 100th time what you've or how much you've taken from us. I think you know that. But I hope you go to God with all the guilt, all the bad things you may have done in the past. Each and every one of us may have done something that we're not supposed to do. If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even behalf of my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do. Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you.
You know, there's so many different ways to react to this, and I've been talking about this tonight, and I've got to think and I've got to hope that that was a good thing that happened right there. Because this 18-year-old young man reached out, and hopefully, this is a convicted murderer who's coming back out into society in 10 years or less. And I hope that what just happened inside that courtroom will make her a better person when she's out, and she will serve others and think of others and lead the life that Botham was going to live. And that's all I can hope for tonight, and I've got to hope that that is what's going to happen, and what happened was a good thing. But not everyone is going to agree with me, I don't think. Let me bring in my think tank tonight. Joining me here in studio, Randy Kessler, family law attorney, law professor, Shania King, criminal defense attorney, and Joe Hibachi, entertainment law attorney, criminal defense attorney. No one's ever seen this before. No one expected this to happen. Let me start first. Was this a good thing?
Oh, come on. Was it a good? It was a great thing.
It was a great thing.
Look, the courtroom was crying. We're all crying. Everyone's. I mean, out of misery comes some realm of hope and happiness. I mean, it's such a dark process, a dark day, and all of a sudden, this guy, of all people, shines some light into the process. And everybody, if you're a human being, you had to feel good about it.
I mean, even if you say how you hope for this to impact her, whether it impacts her or not, it impacted God knows how many people tonight watching that and trying to hopefully bring some peace.
Shania?
It was like the Rodney King, can we all get along moment? It was kumbaya. It was a little bit too much going on in the courtroom. I know we wouldn't have been allowed to do that here in Georgia, but I understand it was a moment that needed to happen to bring everyone together despite all of the turmoil that went inside the courtroom and outside of the courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, and Chris Lewis joins us, great criminal defense attorney who is outside the courthouse in Dallas, Texas. You're a Texan, you're in Dallas, Chris. Your reaction to what happened in the courtroom where Botham Jean's brother embraces his brother's killer.
I tell you what, in over 20 years of practice, I've tried more than 300 jury trials. I've never seen anything like that before. It was absolutely incredible. It was off script. It was unexpected, but I think it was absolutely needed.
And why do you say it's needed? You're in Dallas. Why was that needed in Dallas, Texas today?
It was needed because when the jury came back with 10 years, people were not, you could see the reaction, people were not excited about it. They were upset about it. And I think an 18-year-old young man takes everything into his hands at that point and shows us all how we should live. This had an unbelievable effect on him, yet he set all that aside. He looked at his brother's killer and he said, I forgive you. I give you grace. I give you mercy. I want to hug you. I forgive you. And I hope your life goes better after this. I hope you make better choices.
You know, all of this is taking place in the shadow of a 10-year sentence for a murder. Shania, 10 years.
I think it's not proportionate. As a criminal defense attorney, what I would like to see is, I'm a defense attorney through and through, and I'm all about getting my client the lesser sentence. But we have to keep in mind the sentence has to be proportionate to the crime, and I don't believe every person who's walked into that courtroom and done what she has done and been convicted of what she has been convicted of has gotten that same sentence. So I would want the next person to be able to use that defense and be able to get the same sentence. I don't think each person will get that fair shot.
2 points. Number one, not all murders are the same. Some are depraved, torture, all sorts of murders. Some are different. But really what's interesting is it wasn't a judge. You know, the public can be mad, they can protest, and they can do whatever they want. But it's not like there was a corrupt judge who was too lenient and can get voted out of office. These were members of the Dallas, Texas community, a very diverse jury that came up with this. So you got to give them some deference that there was some back and forth, but they came up with this. You know, we heard about compromised verdicts. This was a compromised sentence. You know, you got to give it a little bit of weight because it didn't just come from one person who might be biased or prejudiced. This came from a group of folks that represented the community.
Joe, prosecutors asked for 28 years to represent how old Botham Jean would have been today.
I mean, I agree with Randy. At the end of the day, you've got to give this jury credit. This is the same jury that convicted her, right? So this is the same jury that determined overall the evidence in the case that this was an intentional murder. But then they took a step back and said, well, what is the appropriate punishment? And again, this wasn't a judge. This was a jury, which we don't have in Georgia, right? So the fact that the jury was the decision maker as to what the appropriate sentence was, we have to trust that the jury made the right decision.
Yeah, we have a lot more to unpack tonight. Again, we still have our eye outside the courthouse in Dallas, Texas, where folks will be gathering shortly. When that happens, of course, you'll see and hear it right here on Court TV. Unbelievable day today, folks. An emotional roller coaster.
For more than 150 years, Brinks has been trusted with keeping your money safe. Now, Brinks introduces the Brinks Prepaid MasterCard to help protect what matters most to you. When security matters most to your family, you can trust Brinks.
Managing a family is a big responsibility.
They rely on us, and we rely on Brinks.
When having confidence that your money is safe matters most, Brinks can help. And integrity and trust are hallmarks of Brinks' heritage.
I trust Brinks to help me do the right things with my money, and my family trusts me.
When getting paid faster matters most, you can trust Brinks' direct deposit. Get your paycheck or government payments up to 2 days faster.
Direct deposit puts our money in our hands faster than a paper check.
And Brinks helps us spend responsibly. We can track our purchases and pay bills online.
The Brinks difference? All the simple to use budgeting tools that make us better at managing our money.
And doing a better job gives us peace of mind.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. When having control of your money matters most, you can trust Brinks. Just load money onto your card account or use direct deposit. Shop at your favorite stores or online, pay bills, buy groceries.
With Anytime Alerts, I get a text message every time I use my card, so I can keep track of my balance.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. And with a qualifying direct deposit, we'll upgrade you to Brinks Preferred, including a savings account that can earn up to a 5% annual percentage yield. Even choose your card design. Now it's your turn to experience the Brinks difference. Get paid up to 2 days faster with Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. Get the peace of mind you deserve with MasterCard's zero liability protection. For more than 150 years, Brinks has helped people build better lives by protecting what matters most. Call right now to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. Call 1-800-807-3725. There's no cost to order. Call now.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. And if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how you can get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Let the back-breaking struggle begin. The toughest job of the year is back. But this year, you can have the advantage with the amazing Cyclone Rake. The Cyclone Rake is the all-in-one property cleanup machine that turns fall cleanup into a ride in the park. It hitches to your riding mower and easily vacuums and mulches anything on the ground. In a few easy hours, you can do the work of a 5-man crew, taking your yard from this to this. And most amazing of all, when you're done, the Cyclone Rake folds up flat and hangs right on the wall. It takes no more storage space than a push mower. Backed by the best warranty in the industry and the unmatched Cyclone Rake 1-year money-back guarantee, there's nothing to lose but all those leaves. Make this the year you turn autumn into your favorite season. Call today to order or to get your free information kit, or go to CycloneRake.com.
All right, folks, there were many unexpected emotional moments, and this just add to the list. This is after everything is over. The judge went back into chambers, got her Bible, and spent some time with convicted murderer Amber Guyger, who was just sentenced to 10 years in prison, and read some scripture. Who can prepare for this? But this is a judge who we saw glimpses of it throughout, but definitely showed who she is. She's a real human being. She has a huge heart. She has incredible compassion and understands the power of the robe and how she can change lives and reach people. And here she's reaching out to a convicted murderer who will, in 10 years or less, be returned to society. Think Tank is still with me. Chris Lewis in Dallas, Texas. You know the judge better than I do. You know these courtrooms better than I do. Your reaction to this moment?
Once again, completely unprecedented, off script. But you're right, this is who Tammy Kemp is. Longtime prosecutor. She was not playing for the cameras whatsoever. She leads from her heart. That's what she was doing. You could hear her when she was thanking the jury for their service, that she got choked up. She realized how difficult this case is. But this is how she deals with her docket on a daily basis. Whether people are looking or not, she wants to make the right decision. She wants to make an impact on people's lives. And that's why she's a judge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a lesson I learned from my father, who was a judge. It's not just about the law. It's about the people who are in front of you and the influence and impact you can have on those folks. There's a saying in this country, right? Separation of church and state. Is that a problem here? Or is this another good moment that is happening that we're looking at right here? Shani, I'm going to start with you. You're in the middle.
I am in the middle. I didn't feel like I was watching a courtroom. Thought I was in church for a moment. She was reading scripture, quoting from the Bible. What I will say is that ethically and morally, I think it had a place in the courtroom. But I understand there's a place and time for everything. And here, it was needed. But I don't know. I think that
It's difficult, isn't it?
It's
This is
difficult.
not easy. This is not easy. This is not the norm.
I think what makes it more acceptable is the fact that this isn't intertwined in the middle of some proceeding. This is at the very end. There's already been a verdict. There's already been a sentence. We've already had this incredible showing of mercy and forgiveness, right? And then the judge has been inspired by that and is having somewhat of a personal, private moment where it's not considered influential on the case at this point. So I think it's not something that's going to cause her any problems.
Randy, you teach the law.
Yeah,
What would you say to your students
Well, I'd say
if they ask you about this?
Well, there should be a separation of church and state, and it probably was inappropriate to be talking about a specific religious belief, but we all recognize it came from a good place. And all good religions, all the general religions are do unto others. And this was the judge looking for a source that was going to be more powerful than just from the bench. When you're on the bench, you can say, I want you to be a good person. That doesn't do it. You got to go to a higher authority. And she went to the highest authority that was most personal to that judge. If you have a problem with it, take it up. But in times of crisis, you look to faith to heal, and that's what the judge did.
Chris, how is this going to play in Dallas, Texas?
I think you can see it behind me right now. The sentence is not playing extremely well. Although the same jury that convicted and was smart and astute and appropriate and listened to the evidence and applied the law to the facts, made the right decision, all of a sudden made the wrong decision. How will Tammy Kemp play? How will Botham Jean's brother Brant and their display in the courtroom play? I hope it plays well. It needs to play well in this community. It needs to play well around the country, because I think what we saw is we saw a victim's brother, we saw a judge completely go off script, but they kind of had their finger on the pulse of the situation. They knew that Amber Guyger needed it. They knew that they needed it. They knew that the Jean family needed it, and they knew that the community needed it. It's about healing now. There has been ramifications for actions. There's going to be accountability. There needs to be healing now, and I think they got it started for all of us.
The story continues tonight, folks. I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, and I can see even more people gathering outside that courthouse in Dallas, Texas. Chanley Painter is there for us. We'll check back in with her, find out exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and what potential impact it will have on the city of Dallas tonight as they think about the sentence of convicted murderer Amber Guyger, just 10 years in prison.
I think the world needed to see O.J. Simpson on the stand.
Do you recall having any conversation about killing Nicole?
Absolutely none. Ever.
Saturday Night Crime Spree. O.J. Speaks. The Hidden Tapes. Starting 8/7 Central on the new Court TV mystery. Everything you love about Court TV is now a podcast.
Let's figure this whole thing out.
Yes.
Join Vinny Politan and Seema Iyer for this week's new episode of the Court TV podcast. Available now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Furnace breakdown? Oh no! That could be a $3,300 bill you weren't expecting. Fridge on the fritz? That could cost you $2,500. Burst pipe? That could be $1,100. But not if you have a home warranty plan from First American. With a First American home warranty plan, when a covered appliance or system breaks, call or click. That's it. And we'll repair or replace it for you. And for most covered repairs, all you pay is a small service fee. We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month, and most come with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher. I called them, and they fixed it.
Why let a major system or appliance breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of trying to find trustworthy service people? Get the First American home warranty plan. And when a covered item breaks, call or click. That's it. And we'll repair or replace it for you. We're part of the First American family of companies, named one of the most trustworthy companies in America by Forbes magazine.
Reliable, safe, knowledgeable, trustworthy people. It's absolutely worth it. More than our money's worth.
You save a lot of money.
Tremendous amount of peace of mind.
Perfect.
Last year alone, we saved our customers over $140 million in repair and replacement costs. Don't wait until it's too late and you're stuck with a huge repair bill because your air conditioner, furnace, or fridge broke.
First American makes the headaches go away. It's that simple.
It's a big savings.
If you don't have First American warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-967-1663 for a free, no-obligation quote. That's 1-800-967-1663 for a free, no-obligation quote. Call 1-800-967-1663 now.
Help! When you fall and can't get help,
Help!
you will lie on the floor for hours or days in constant, terrible anguish, which often results in a tragic outcome. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether at home,
I've fallen and I can't get up.
in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
or on the go.
Help! I'm in the park and I can't get up.
And batteries never need charging. Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-4841. That's 1-800-518-4841. Call now. 1-800-518-4841.
Attention firefighters. Certain chemicals in firefighting foams are linked to certain cancers. Military firefighters and civilian firefighters assigned to airports are at a higher risk of exposure because foam is used to put out jet fuel fires. If you or a loved one are a firefighter who used these foams and later developed kidney, testicular, or pancreatic cancer, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolov Law, 1-800-485-8509 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-485-8509. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
What a day in Dallas, Texas, and it's not over, folks. Earlier today, Amber Guyger, convicted murderer, sentenced by the same jury that found her guilty of intentionally and knowingly shooting and killing Botham John, a 100% innocent man, sentenced her to just 10 years in prison. They could have sentenced her to life, 99 years, anything between 5 and life. They chose 10. Prosecutors asked for 28. The defense didn't say anything about a number. So after that happened, there was some outrage inside the courthouse, and tonight folks are gathering outside the courthouse. And Chanley Painter is there. She was inside the courtroom for what happened today, but outside the courthouse for what is going to happen tonight. Chanley, what can you tell us about what's happening there?
Well, there's a large crowd gathering outside the Frank Crowley Court building right now. They're about to start a rally and a march on the heels of the sentencing of Amber Guyger. There are people from all over the greater Dallas area here today to not only honor Botham Jean, but the name of this rally, Vinny, is Justice for Black and Brown People. We spoke to Dominique Alexander a little bit earlier, who's hosting this, and said this is really more about calling out the Dallas Police Department, the corruption there, and they want to make some changes here in Dallas.
Chanley, is this going to be a protest? Are there going to be outrage tonight? Is it going to echo what we heard inside the hallways of the courthouse earlier today? What do we expect the tone to be there tonight?
So far, it's very peaceful. I'm sure you can hear the music, that's calming music. A little bit of reggae joined in there. There's a violinist playing right now, but I'm sure at times we're going to hear from some speakers who may get quite heated and echo the things that we heard in the hallway right after sentencing, as well as the echoes of Allison Jean, who also called out the Dallas Police Department. And that's what we could expect from Dominique Alexander, who said this is a time for action for them, because to them, they see this whole trial with the guilty verdict, but yet the 10-year sentencing as not complete and full justice for what they expected.
All right, Chanley Painter outside the courthouse for us, and of course we'll check back in with her as things begin and the speakers start to voice their opinions about what happened today. But we got a glimpse of it. Our cameras were rolling in the hallways of the courthouse just outside the courtroom, and this is just after a 10-year sentence was given to this defendant. Remember, we're in Texas, so the jury does it. The same jury who said guilty of murder said 10 years. And the jury in this case is very diverse. There were 5 black members of this jury, 3 white, 2 that were Hispanic/Hispanic white, 2 that were Asian/Asian white. So you had a real mixture of the community represented in that jury. This isn't a case where you have a black victim and you've got a white jury and a white defendant. It's not like that. It was a mixture, but there was still outrage, a sense that justice, which they felt yesterday with the murder conviction, was taken away from them today with this 10-year sentence. Take a listen.
People need to be accountable for what they do. People go for drug deals and they get 99 years. This person would never be able to have kids, would never be able to have a wife. His mom wakes up every day and he's not there. She can't call him on the phone. She can't talk to him. There's no peace and no justice. It should have been 25 to 99.
And if I can just say, y'all, that this is a systemic problem. This is the problem. Black people are not valued in this country, in this city. We are tired, and we are going to rise up. We're going to rise up against the system, and we're going to fight for our rights. That's right. Okay? We are tired of being treated like animals, and that we do not matter. But today, it is a new day in Dallas.
There are 2 mothers. There were 2 mothers in here that came here to support Botham Jean's mother. We are tired of getting our children getting just taken from us. This is getting tiring. And these mothers, there's a mother in there crying. Here she is, right here. Here she is. This is what you're doing. You're traumatizing our people. Re-traumatized. Every time we see another one, every time we walk down the street, you ask us why we march. What else can we do? Are we supposed to just live? We cannot live. We cannot just walk down the street. We have to march down the street because we are politicking for our lives. We have to politic and ask for you to give us indictments, for you to give us any type of justice. We have to fight for every single step that we get.
We ain't made it that far.
If we had not got her in protest, she would not be charged at all.
So never.
So there you get a sense of the outrage and the emotion outside that courtroom. And these are not family members of Botham Jean's, but these are people who have been impacted by similar cases where their loved ones have been shot and killed by police officers. And there was another case in Texas I want to talk about, just to put some perspective on all of this. It was Texas versus Roy Oliver. And Roy Oliver was a man in 2017, shot and killed a 15-year-old unarmed young man who was driving with his friends in a car, had no weapon, shot and killed. And this officer, convicted of murder also, got just 15 years. Take a listen to Roy Oliver describe why he shot this unarmed young man.
Do you admit that you killed an innocent bystander?
He was a perceived threat at that time.
Perceived threat as a passenger in the car?
We're responding to gunshots to an active shooter. The car is being told to stop, be detained. The passenger was moving, making avertive movements. Do not know what that passenger was trying to do or get.
And that's another case. And obviously every case is different, but for many people, those cases aren't that different. So he gets 15 years, Amber Guyger gets 10 years. These are murder convictions, by the way. So what should change? What could change in our system? Let me bring back in my think tank. I'll begin in Dallas, Texas with Chris Lewis. Should something change? Could there be a change to our system to give folks more of a sense of justice in cases like this?
No, Vinny, as you said, every one of these cases is different. And the folks that are protesting, I mean, their complaints, they're valid. I understand what they're saying. This has been a systemic problem. But we go from a situation where police officers at one time were never charged, certainly never convicted of a crime. We are starting to have some accountability. But whenever you have that accountability, when you get to the sentencing phase, you're supposed to consider everything about the individual. You're supposed to consider everything about the circumstances. You're supposed to consider everything about the victim. Now, I understand the argument for the Roy Oliver case and him only getting 15. I mean, I think that was a situation where a car was leaving the scene of a potential crime at a high rate of speed. I think he testified he had to jump out of the way. But then he shot into the back of a vehicle that was occupied by a lot of people. It was clearly a murder. Maybe he deserved more time. But I think that the important thing we need to do is we need to look at each one of these cases individually, not as a statement for the whole, not as a statement for the past, not as a statement for the future, but what happened in this particular instance? Was it a murder? This jury said, yes, it was a murder. I understand how they got there. What is the appropriate punishment for this defendant on that particular night based on these sets of facts and circumstances? And this jury, that is made up of 75 or 80% persons of color, had said that the appropriate punishment after deliberating for 2 hours is 10 years. It's hard for me to look at that and say that's wrong.
Systemic problem is the phrase I keep hearing. So that says there's a problem with our system of justice. Should anything change? Could anything change? Or is this our system working appropriately?
I think the protests, they want to shed light on the issues. They want to shed light on the fact that, police officers have.
But they're looking for change.
They are looking for change.
What's the change?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that we know they're not trying to change this verdict or this outcome, because I think most of us agree there was a jury that decided and compromised.
No. They said 10 years. Justice was taken from those folks today. That's the way a lot of them felt.
But they know, the organizers know, they're not going to change this verdict. That is the verdict. What they're going to do is bring more awareness. The next time there's a jury deciding, they should say, hey, let's make sure we think about it seriously. Is it different because it's a white person or black? Is it different because it's a brown person? They're going to raise awareness. And that's how you get change in society. That's how we cut out smoking, right? It wasn't by laws. It was by bringing awareness that it's a bad thing to smoke. That's the awareness issue. That's the protest issue.
Does anything have to change in our system?
I think that's right, and I think what
let me ask this:
is change.
Is the system working here?
Well, I think the system worked here exactly for that reason, that we had a jury that came to this conclusion. The system worked because this officer got indicted for this set of facts, and the system worked that the prosecution followed through with prosecuting this case despite the difficult circumstances of it. So there's already been change. I think even in some of the statements that we heard, that the fact that there has been an indictment in this case was change. Is it enough? Probably not. Is there systematic differences in the way circumstances are treated? There's no doubt about it. Was this an appropriate verdict, however, is a different situation. And again, given the makeup of this jury, it's hard to question the verdict and the sentence based on the fact that this wasn't an all-white Rodney King jury.
You are lawyers. You're in this system day in and day out. Could anything be altered or changed to bring the sense of justice that these folks are looking for, or is this is it?
If Texas is tired of these verdicts, they need to change the law. They need to have the judge decide the verdicts. I mean, or the sentencing, that's as simply as it's going to get, because here you're going to have a jury made up of a number of people who are going to have sympathy. They're not jaded. They don't see these cases in and out, so they're going to have more of a sympathetic approach to the cases, whereas a judge will decide it based on rigid guidelines and decide it without the bias.
I think there'll be some healing if the jurors talk. You know, once the public starts to understand that, yeah, there was somebody on the jury that wanted life without parole, there's someone on the jury that wanted to have less time, and they compromised. When they hear how the jury came up with their decision, I mean, these jurors didn't flip a coin. They negotiated, and they navigated, and they compromised. And when people start to understand the process, we as lawyers understand the process. We talk to jurors when you tried cases, you talk to jurors after the case, and you realize, wow, this person saw that, this person saw that, they convinced each other. It's like those movies, you know, where you see the jurors talk about what they saw, they convinced each other, they reached a compromise verdict.
I mean,
that's the way it should be.
We were not in the jury room, right? None of us really know what took place back there, but we do know that they took their time, and we do know that they listened to some pretty damning evidence about some of the things that she had said and posted.
Absolutely.
And so the point is they considered those things but still came up with this as being an appropriate verdict. To me, what that says is that they sort of disregarded some of her life circumstances and some of the decisions that she made and maybe focused on the facts of the case and the circumstances of this case.
All right, as I said, the story continues tonight. Let's take a look at what's happening outside the courthouse. Protesters talking about what happened inside the courtroom and what is happening in the streets across Dallas tonight.
They covered it up.
Like they do everything else.
We are out here because there's so many lives that didn't get that day of justice, that never made it, because so many people live a life like policing is right.
For more than 150 years, Brinks has been trusted with keeping your money safe. Now, Brinks introduces the Brinks Prepaid MasterCard to help protect what matters most to you. When security matters most to your family, you can trust Brinks.
Managing a family is a big responsibility.
They rely on us, and we rely on Brinks.
When having confidence that your money is safe matters most, Brinks can help. And integrity and trust are hallmarks of Brinks' heritage.
I trust Brinks to help me do the right things with my money. And my family trusts me.
When getting paid faster matters most, you can trust Brinks' direct deposit. Get your paycheck or government payments up to 2 days faster.
Direct deposit puts our money in our hands faster than a paper check.
And Brinks helps us spend responsibly. We can track our purchases and pay bills online.
The Brinks difference? All the simple to use budgeting tools that make us better at managing our money.
And doing a better job gives us peace of mind.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. When having control of your money matters most, you can trust Brinks. Just load money onto your card account or use direct deposit. Shop at your favorite stores or online, pay bills, buy groceries.
With Anytime Alerts, I get a text message every time I use my card, so I can keep track of my balance.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. And with a qualifying direct deposit, we'll upgrade you to Brinks Preferred, including a savings account that can earn up to a 5% annual percentage yield. Even choose your card design. Now it's your turn to experience the Brinks difference. Get paid up to 2 days faster with Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. Get the peace of mind you deserve with MasterCard's zero liability protection. For more than 150 years, Brinks has helped people build better lives by protecting what matters most. Call right now to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. Call 1-800-807-3725. There's no cost to order. Call now.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-549-6270. That's 800-549-6270.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. The Center for Medicare Services has officially authorized new benefits Medicare Advantage plans may include. Plans may now include private home aids and rides to medical appointments. Most plans also include dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. To get the benefits you deserve, call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, and they instantly advised me that I wasn't getting all the benefits I deserve. They explained I could get a plan that includes dental and prescription coverage, as well as the new coverage for private home aids and rides to medical appointments. If you want to find out what you deserve, call the number on your screen now. It's free. You'll be happy you called, I guarantee it.
Call to see if you can save money and get more benefits now. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
I'm not negotiating no more because I just want justice to roll down. I just want the right thing to happen. I want them to know. Look, it's been a whole year that this family has had to deal with it. And that chief had the nerve to say that we're gonna send this to the internal affairs for them to review. It should have already been damn done.
That is the scene tonight outside the courthouse in Dallas, Texas. And as you saw, a lot of folks wearing that color red in memory of Botham Jean. That was his favorite color. That was the color of the floor mat, the doormat out in front of his door, and it's not an accident that folks are wearing that tonight. Some outrage in reaction to the 10-year sentence for Amber Guyger. But inside the courtroom today, I mean, this was a case that was well tried by both sides, but it was a case full of emotion, and this jury experienced all of it today.
It's just been the most terrible time for me.
Like if I could just continue our conversation, our last conversation, just not let him hang up the phone.
I was at this area with 5 different black officers. Not racist, but damn. Outgoing message. Not racist, but just have a different way of working, and it shows.
This man is gonna be in my life forever. And he's gonna be a part of us forever because I can't imagine living life without my other person.
What could it be possible? I'll never see him again. And I want to see him. I still want to see him.
She was sweet. She found out that there was a spot in the academy. She said, Mom, if I don't take it now, I may lose my chance. She always would tell me she wished she could take in his place. She feels very bad about it. She feels very bad about it.
She's kind. She's good to people. She's the sweetest girl.
So this happened, and she just does not feel like she deserves to have any kind of happiness. And anytime she even gets close to even like a smile, she kind of reverts back. She just told me that she just wanted to say sorry to his family.
Just wanted to go home. And they made a series of terrible, terrible mistakes.
To him, to her, the defendant, he was just a silhouette in a room. But to anyone who ever met him, he was the brightest light in the room.
What an emotional day inside the courtroom. And you know, oftentimes we talk about trials and we talk about what happens there and we say it's about the facts, and it's about the law. Not exactly. That third element is important. And I believe it's important a lot of times because you need the emotion to get to the truth. To understand who Botham Jean was, we needed to hear from his family. We needed to understand what this life was that was taken. And on the other hand, from the defense perspective, to understand the person that you are punishing, that you are sentencing, it takes a level of emotion to understand who they really are as well. Let me bring back in my think tank and ask them, are you comfortable? And I'll begin with the professor, Randy Kessler. Are you comfortable with emotion inside a courtroom?
Absolutely. You know, it's not mathematics. If it was mathematics and science, we'd have a computer spit out the verdict and that would be it. That's exactly why our system, who is it, W.C. Fields or Winston Churchill, who said it's the worst form of democracy, worst form of government, except for all the others. Yeah, it's got its flaws, but I'll take our system over anybody else's.
Does emotion have a place?
When we get the jury instructions for reading to a jury, typically it's included in there. You can't consider sympathy in your verdict, right? But we're human. We have emotions. We're going to have naturally feelings and opinions that you can't control. And I think that's what happened here.
Yeah, absolutely. Compassion, mercy. I mean, this is why we don't have machines sitting as jurors, right? We have humans sitting as jurors. And humans bring to the table their own life experiences, their own feelings about certain circumstances. And especially when you're dealing with a sentencing phase of a trial, you need to be able to assess the humanity of all of this. And there were some great things about both parties involved. And obviously, this man was a good man.
Chris, this was a prosecution, and I said this throughout the trial, that was driven by emotion. It was very unusual to watch, but there was a level of the emotion for the loss of Botham Jean, but then there was a level of indignation and anger at Amber Guyger. Does emotion have a place inside our criminal courtrooms?
Yeah, I absolutely think that emotion has a place inside. You can't decide cases like this without the emotion. You have to know the emotion. You have to feel the emotion. The jurors they've got to put themselves, somehow the lawyers have to put themselves in the position of the victim, but also of the defendant in this case. Without emotion, you don't know what Amber Guyger was feeling. So I think it absolutely has a place in the courtroom, but the verdict should not be based on emotion.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with everyone tonight. I say this because the emotion is the reality. Remember, a trial always is a search for the truth, and the jury has to find their way to the truth as to what happened and then deliver some level of justice based upon that truth that they find. And if you completely remove emotion, you remove the humanity from what happened. And when you're covering a murder trial and you're trying a murder case, you can't remove the emotion because there is loss associated from the victim's perspective. And then trying to figure out what motivated what happened, sometimes you have to understand the emotion of the case. All right. We have emotion tonight. You have emotion. Social media had a reaction tonight. We're going to talk about that and check back in with Chanley Painter, who is outside the courthouse, when we return.
Welcome to Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
And we're doing what we do best and diving straight into our trial.
You have to look at everything in this case.
He murdered our daughter. Did you take the hose and squeeze it?
Guilty on all counts.
This is true crime all the time.
And you're not gonna miss a moment of it. That was really eye-opening.
This is what I love to do.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
If something happened to you, what would happen to them? Their home, their education, their future. You need life insurance, and chances are SelectQuote can help you get it for less than $1 a day. That's right. Chances are SelectQuote can help you get the insurance your family needs for less than $1 a day.
SelectQuote found Jacob 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Already have a policy? You're probably paying too much.
Joanne was paying $218 a month for a universal life policy. We found her a 30-year term policy for only $73 a month, a savings of $145 a month.
Our secret? At SelectQuote, we aggressively comparison shop up to 10 highly rated companies, including American General, Prudential, Protective, Mutual of Omaha, and others, to find you the company with the best rates. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
Call 1-800-736-9735 or go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs.
At a price you can afford. At SelectQuote, we've helped millions of Americans get the insurance they need, often for less than $1 a day. We do it by aggressively shopping up to 10 highly rated companies like these to find you the best policy at the lowest possible rate. Need even more coverage? SelectQuote can help.
We found Gary, 35, a $1 million policy for only $22 a month.
If you have loved ones who depend on your income, you need life insurance. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
Call 1-800-736-9735 or go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs.
At a price you can afford.
That number again is 1-800-736-9735.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
We, the jury, find unanimously that the defendant did not cause the death of Botham Jean while under the immediate influence of sudden passion arising from inadequate cause, and assess the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. In addition, we assess a fine of $0, and it's signed by the presiding juror.
A surprising verdict for many folks tonight. 10 years in prison for Amber Guyger, convicted of the murder of Botham Jean. But the same jury that found him guilty delivered that sentence of 10 years. So she will get out. She's only 31 years old. She's getting out. She will have a life after all of this, and it's up to her as to what type of life she is going to have. I want to check in with Chanley Painter, Court TV legal correspondent, who is outside the courthouse tonight, and there are a whole bunch of folks behind you. First question for you, Chanley, is what's happening outside the courthouse right now?
Well, people of all ethnicities and backgrounds are gathering out front of the Frank Crawley court building on the heels of Amber Guyger's sentence, the same courthouse she was taken into custody that Botham Jean's family left just hours ago. People are honoring his memory, but also asking the city of Dallas to make some changes, particularly with the Dallas Police Department. We're on our third speaker right now. There's several, a dozen people here, but I want to bring in one protester. This is Mr. Ruffin, and you are here for a special reason. Tell us why.
I'm here for one thing. When I saw the trial and as in its totality, we were here when it first happened, and we was outside the police headquarters, and that was a year ago. And then to see how things have progressed from then to now, we seeing that there's still no change going on here in Dallas, and things are not being taken seriously. We can be happy that a verdict was made and a decision was done. Justice was served in that regard. The 10-year sentence, as abysmal as it is still a victory. And we need to just stay focused on that. And I definitely want to acknowledge the John family for the class they exuded, before, during, and throughout. And Brent John, I think that was just beautiful, him embracing Amber Guyger, showing forgiveness. he taught us all a lesson. And it definitely taught, I think these things need to be said because last year, police officer Garrett Hall was killed in Fort Worth. And my son-in-law was the one that committed that crime. And I went to the memorial service and reached out to his father, and I gave him an embrace and gave him my, definite sorrow to let him know not all black people hate police no more than all police don't hate black people. I reached out to Betsy Price and Joe Fitzgerald that night to try to get them to try to build on that message. And it's been ignored ever since because no one wanted to talk about trying to make things positive. Had these things been done, maybe a whole lot of other people would have lived. Maybe Tony Temple would have lived. I have a list right here of almost 100 people that have been killed under egregious circumstances by the Dallas Police Department.
That gives us definitely some background and history impetus for this type of event. I've been calling Brant Jean's hug the hug felt around the world. It's really symbolic of forgiveness and healing, and I hear speakers echoing that tonight at the rally. They're expected to march as well. Tell us more about that.
Well, this is our city as well. And our city council, our mayors, we've had 4 district attorneys in the past 5 years. And it's total dysfunctionism we've had here in Dallas. And this has happened every year. This has happened. And then when the 5 officers was murdered back in 2015, it was blamed on issues that happened outside of Dallas. A lot of people don't realize the type of cesspool of racism and bigotry that exists here in Dallas. And it's not all by white people. There are black people that hate other black people just as much or just as bad or even worse. And those things are getting ignored. And we really need to address this thing head on because tomorrow can be any of us. They're killing us on the streets. They're killing us in our homes. They take apart our self-worth any way they can. You stand against the police department, you're taking a risk of your life and your livelihood. Mine's been threatened. This started for me 10 years ago. I was wrongfully accused in 2 separate incidents. Both times, even after exoneration, you still couldn't get a job anywhere because just the stigmatism of an arrest, especially if it's based upon crimes against children or women or anything, because that's how we are demonized.
I know that they're talking about a lot of steps. It's about moving forward into the future with the reference of the past here and making those changes. That's the theme I'm hearing out here so far. And a lot of chants of no justice, no peace. And that's what I'm hearing, as well as Botham Jean in his memory. Like I said, thank you for joining us, and it's one of many, dozens of people out here on the steps, and of all backgrounds. And I think that's what makes this extra special. Benny, back to you.
Yes, it does. And we're just
Chanley Painter outside the courthouse tonight. Chanley, really appreciate the perspective that was brought to us through that. I just wanted to go to Chanley for one more question. Is she still with us? She may not be with us. Okay. Because Chanley Painter covered this story, this trial from beginning to end, has a really unique perspective. And I just wanted, Chanley, to give you a moment to put some perspective on this entire trial that we experienced. And I just would like to hear from you on that as we say goodnight to you tonight.
Vinny, this is a landmark trial that will go down in history for what we witnessed today live inside that courtroom. It was a beautiful picture, probably the most beautiful thing I've personally seen in my life, of forgiveness, of healing, of grace and compassion. A story of 2 families torn apart by a tragic incident, and that the brother, who had been quiet the whole time, ended up being the one teaching the world how to handle it.
Chanley Painter, well stated. Thank you so much, and we'll see you back here at Court TV when you return. I want to turn now to more reaction tonight, which is social media reaction. And we do read the posts, folks. I want to stress that to you. Let's begin with what Felicia has to say tonight. And Felicia commenting on Amber Guyger. She could have at least got on the stand and apologized to his family. If you were really, really remorseful, you would have gotten up there and apologized. It literally can't get any worse. She's already been found guilty. I want to bring back in the think tank on this one. You know, we know the outcome is 10 years, but why not get up on that stand one more time?
I absolutely 100% agree. I mean, I echo that. I mean, she had an opportunity to get up there. This is your moment to accept some level of accountability. Even if you maintain your innocence, you can still be accountable for the fact that you caused this man's death. And this is your opportunity to show some remorse for that.
I agree. You know, had she done it right, of course, we're here commenting on it. We weren't there. We were not her lawyers. We don't know how she was feeling, how she would have presented. She might have not had it in her to be authentic. She might have come off as inauthentic and made it worse for herself. It's hard to second guess lawyers that are actually in the battlefield there in the front lines.
I want to go to what Chloe has to say tonight. And Chloe's comment is, this was a perfect storm. Female, cop, political motives, biased judge, and several other factors. She was doomed from the beginning. I agree that she needs to be held accountable for her actions, but I also believe in our justice system being fair and even across the board. Hashtag they almost got it right. Chris, do you think this is a case of almost getting it right, or is this a case of getting it right?
No, I completely disagree with the person that had that sentiment. I think this was a case of them getting it right. We didn't have a biased judge. We had a judge that called a very tight strike zone for both sides. We had a jury that listened to everything. They were separated from their lives for a week and a half. They were sequestered. They listened. They were thoughtful about it. They returned a murder verdict, and then they were thoughtful again through sentencing and returned what they believed to be a just verdict. I think the jury got it right.
All right, Charlene writing tonight, wow, 10 years. I guarantee if the shoe was on the other foot, both of them would not have gotten life. That's a slap in the face. I think it was both of them would have gotten life. I think that may have been miswritten. Charlene is writing that if the shoe was on the other foot, things would be different. Do you believe things would have been different, Shania?
Possibly so. Here, the victim was pretty much pristine. He didn't have anything criminal history, so it's hard to say. I would like to think that we'd be in a different position, but we can't overlook the fact that one is white and one is black, and it might have been different if the shoe was on the other foot.
You think so, John? Do you think if both of them made the mistake, both of them went into her apartment, shot and killed her, we talking about the same result here?
If both of them was a law enforcement officer?
No, if both of them was both of them.
No, I think...
Because this is about two things. I mean, people are saying this is about race to a certain extent, and this is about police and the public.
Well, that's right, but part of the defense's presentation and part of what made the case had a different dynamic to it is the fact that her reaction was deemed to be a law enforcement reaction that was triggered by training. You don't shoot a leg, you shoot to kill. I mean, that's part of what the presentation was. So I think if you're turning it around, I mean, I think it would have, unfortunately, I do think it would have probably been different if the shoe was on the other foot. But I would have to believe that we had a good jury here that was able to discern these issues. And if we had the exact same jury, who knows?
Here's what Terry's writing tonight. This tells me they convicted her of murder to appease the media and prosecution and then gave her a manslaughter sentence of which they may have wanted to give her originally. I think this jury was under so much pressure from all directions, and the defense witnesses saved her in the end. Wow, what a roller coaster. Hopefully the family will get something on the civil side. All right, a lot to talk about potentially here. Do we think this is a case where the jury knew all along what they were going to do in the end, but appeased people with a murder conviction?
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's a great comment, and it's sort of, you know, the pendulum swung all the way this way when it was a murder conviction, and so many people thought, what? That's not murder. And then it swung all the way the other way. Murder, only 10 years. But the question is great because is it really a jury's role to fall or to succumb to public pressure? We all know there's an issue with police and police over-aggressiveness and brutality and racism, and there's a lot of issues with that. But that shouldn't have anything to do with this case. How do you get it out of your mind? You're supposed to judge this case based on the facts of this case. And we're now analyzing it and looking at it and saying, should things be different? Should there be rule changes? The jury had one case in front of them. They didn't have the whole world to fix. They didn't have to worry about society and laws. They had to figure out, was this woman guilty and what should her sentence be? And that's what I think they did. And we can comment on it all day long, what other people should do, and we hope it doesn't happen to other people. But in this case, They had to focus on the facts of this case and do what they thought was right for this case, which is what I think this jury did.
Here's what Shannon's writing tonight. Why will society be blamed for the action of 12 jurors? Everyone loves the jurors when they said guilty. Now they don't like the sentence. Why are people outside yelling and screaming about a lack of justice when it's 12 common everyday citizens that made the sentence? Not the police, not the American flag. I don't get it. Shannon, do you, not Shannon, Shania, do you get what Shannon is saying here?
I agree. We want a Monday night quarterback and say, well, they got it wrong. You didn't agree with them today, but you agree with them yesterday. It's hard to say what went on in that jury room when they were making that decision. I think they thought it out, but again, before they made the decision, even when their jury was being picked, they knew they would get to decide the sentence. I think they split the baby. They knew they could convict her, but also knew they could choose how much she got between 5 and 99.
Here's what Jessica's writing tonight. Bo, meaning Botham Jean, would have wanted mercy to be shown, and it was. The verdict of murder, I think, was to appease the crowd, but the sentencing showed the true intent of the crime. It wasn't a hate crime or race. Case closed. Chris, this wasn't a hate crime. A hate crime wasn't charged. But in the sentencing today, there were references to race, that this defendant, through the text messages that were shown to this jury, was perhaps a racist. What are your thoughts about that issue and how it relates to this case, this verdict?
Well, it's certainly fair game. I mean, you send things in text message, you post things, and sometimes you don't expect it to be scrutinized. I mean, that's her fault. And certainly it shows a little bit about what a person's thinking on that inside. But you also saw a different side. You saw her two best friends come up. They were both Hispanic. You saw the African-American lady that came up that she helped while she was going through drug treatment. She showed up at her graduation. So you saw a different side of her. I don't think that this was a race-motivated crime. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Were there racist texts? Were there things that should be scrutinized? Of course. But I don't think that this crime was motivated by race in the least.
All right, folks, when we come back, we will take one last look at this case, and I have an important question for the think tank tonight. Was justice served? The answer when we return.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. The Center for Medicare Services has officially authorized new benefits Medicare Advantage plans may include. Plans may now include private home aids and rides to medical appointments. Most plans also include dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. To get the benefits you deserve, call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, and they instantly advised me that I wasn't getting all the benefits I deserve. They explained I could get a plan that includes dental and prescription coverage, as well as the new coverage for private home aids and rides to medical appointments. If you want to find out what you deserve, call the number on your screen now. It's free. You'll be happy you called, I guarantee it.
Call to see if you can save money and get more benefits now. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-549-6270. That's 800-549-6270.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. See disclaimer for law firms. Attention all women who have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one used talcum powder for routine feminine hygiene and later suffered from ovarian cancer, call right now.
Call 1-800-721-7408.
For more than 150 years, Brinks has been trusted with keeping your money safe. Now, Brinks introduces the Brinks Prepaid MasterCard to help protect what matters most to you. When security matters most to your family, you can trust Brinks.
Managing a family is a big responsibility.
They rely on us, and we rely on Brinks.
When having confidence that your money is safe matters most, Brinks can help. And integrity and trust are hallmarks of Brinks' heritage.
I trust Brinks to help me do the right things with my money, and my family trusts me.
When getting paid faster matters most, you can trust Brinks' direct deposit. Get your paycheck or government payments up to 2 days faster.
Direct deposit puts our money in our hands faster than a paper check.
And Brinks helps us spend responsibly. We can track our purchases and pay bills online.
The Brinks difference? All the simple-to-use budgeting tools that make us better at managing our money.
And doing a better job gives us peace of mind.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. When having control of your money matters most, you can trust Brinks. Just load money onto your card account or use direct deposit. Shop at your favorite stores or online, pay bills, buy groceries.
With Anytime Alerts, I get a text message every time I use my card, so I can keep track of my balance.
Call now or go online to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. And with a qualifying direct deposit, we'll upgrade you to Brinks Preferred, including a savings account that can earn up to a 5% annual percentage yield. Even choose your card design. Now it's your turn to experience the Brinks difference. Get paid up to 2 days faster with Brinks prepaid MasterCard. Get the peace of mind you deserve with MasterCard's zero liability protection. For more than 150 years, Brinks has helped people build better lives by protecting what matters most. Call right now to order your Brinks prepaid MasterCard. Call 1-800-807-3725. There's no cost to order. Call now.
It's just been the most terrible time for me.
Like if I could just continue our conversation, our last conversation, just not let him hang up the phone.
I was at this area with 5 different black officers. Not racist, but damn. Outgoing message. Not racist, but just have a different way of working, and it shows.
This man is gonna be in my life forever. And he's gonna be a part of us forever because I can't imagine living life without my other person.
How could it be possible? I'll never see him again. And I want to see him. I still want to see him.
She was sweet. She found out that there was a spot in the academy. And she said, Mom, if I don't take it now, I may lose my chance. She always would tell me she wished she could take in his place. She feels very bad about it. She feels very bad about it.
She's kind. She's good to people. She's the sweetest girl.
So this happened, and she just does not feel like she deserves to have any kind of happiness. And anytime she even gets close to even like a smile, she kind of reverts back. She just told me that she just wanted to say sorry to his family.
Just wanted to go home. And they made a series of terrible, terrible mistakes.
To him, to her, the defendant, he was just a silhouette in a room. But to anyone who ever met him, he was the brightest light in them.
We, the jury, find unanimously and assess the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
So, as we reflect upon what has happened in this case, in this trial, she was indicted, she was convicted of murder, but she was sentenced to just 10 years in prison. So I have a question from my think tank as we wrap things up tonight. Was justice served? Begin with criminal defense attorney Chris Lewis in Dallas. Was justice served?
Justice was absolutely served. This jury worked through an emotionally charged trial. They worked through a legally complicated jury charge. They rejected a lesser charge of manslaughter that would have given her 2 to 20 years in prison. They rejected sudden passion on the murder charge that would have given her 2 to 20 years in prison. They found her guilty of murder, which she was. Then they meted out a punishment that was between that 2 and 20 range of 10 years. I think that they got it right. This jury took their job seriously, and I think justice was served.
Joe Hibachi, was justice served?
I have to agree, justice was served. They thought about the verdict, and then this same skilled jury was able to think about the circumstances of this case and weigh everything that took place, the facts of the case, the circumstances of both the victim and the defendant, and they weighed it out, and they came up with a sentence that they thought was fair. I think justice was served.
Shania King, was justice served?
Justice is in the eye of the beholder. I believe the defendant got their day in court, the victim got their day in court. You may not agree with the end result, but the trial happened, it occurred, and it didn't die at the crime scene. The victim got a chance to speak at this court trial.
Randy Kessler, was justice served?
Yes, we've all tried cases, and it's amazing how 12 people are smarter than one person. 12 people see things. Somebody catches something, somebody was, nodding off when this part, so they get reminded. 12 people, they got it right. It was justice. They followed the law and got a murder conviction, but then in the sentencing, they tempered that justice with mercy. Right result.